Hey, good morning, everyone in Business Law 1 for the summer session. I thought I'd put up a quick video note instead of typing one out regarding quiz grades and some of the homework case problems feedback. First of all, I was going through the last two quizzes and I noticed as a general principle, class hasn't done all that great on the quizzes. So I wanted to let you know that I am going to scale those first two quizzes, but I'm also going to drop the lowest quiz out of the series of quizzes you'll take over the summer. So anybody that's not so happy about the quiz grades they've gotten so far on the first two quizzes, which I believe is chapters 1 through 4 and 5 through 7, um, there's still plenty of ability to raise the grades significantly. And again, although I don't like to advertise it, I always scale quiz grades when I find the class universally doesn't do nearly as well as I had hoped, partially because I think it's me. I didn't write a very good quiz. It'd be different if there was a few people that were doing poorly or not as well as I had hoped. But when the class universally does somewhat low, I think it's a reflection on the nature of the quiz. So don't lose faith. There's plenty of time to raise those grades. And again, I dropped the lowest quiz out of all the quizzes, and I scale those that I don't think the class does universally well. But in the future, going forward, I want you to know when I do post quizzes, they're open for when you do first attempt them for 4 hours. It's open book, open notes, open resources. I urge you to take your time going through the quizzes. The future quizzes are not easier necessarily, but I do think they're more approachable, and there are essay portions on the future quizzes going forward. Um, I think the material is more likely to be understood and digested well by the students as we go forward anyway. So quiz grades tend to go up once we get into chapter 8 and beyond. Um, and so I want you to feel comfortable with the grades you currently have. Everyone's going to do fine, especially if you keep doing the homework and keep asking questions. I've had a few students that have asked me and said, hey, on quiz, the second quiz on number 17, I got it wrong. I was fairly confident I got it right. I don't understand it. Can we discuss it? And we either have a phone call or we discuss it back and forth in an email. And if the student can demonstrate to me that they understand the concept but misunderstood the nature of how the question was, or they learn the concept by having a dialogue with me over that question, I'll give credit for that. We can boost grades. The goal here is what? Is it to get a good grade? Well, of course it is. I'm a grade monger as a student too. I want to do well. But you also want to learn the material. That's the thing that's the most critical. So if you can show me you understand the concepts going forward, we can adjust some of those quiz grades as long as you come in with an understanding of it. If you take the quiz and you do poorly in a few questions, and as a result of seeing the correct grade, because you can through gradebook, when you look at your grade, you can see I reveal where the correct answer was. And if you say, oh yeah, now I get it, well, that's great. You're learning the process. Use it as a learning tool. Don't get so hung up over the quiz grades. You'll do fairly well as you go forward. You'll find the quiz grades will go up as we proceed forward, I think, in all likelihood. I can't guarantee that, but I just wanted to give you that little sense of if I was a student and I had the average quiz grades in a course, I'd be a little concerned at this point. Don't be. The quiz grades will likely improve. Take the full time on future quizzes. Ask for feedback. Let's discuss some of those quiz grades, and you'll probably do better. And as with regard to homework, you can hopefully sense I'm a very liberal grader of homework. As long as you showed me you've dived in, you've given it some thought, and you've made reasonable responses. Even if incorrect, you'll get fairly significant credit on the homework. One of the issues is, though, on the case problem, sometimes I get it. You look at a case problem and says, what the heck does this author, because they come from the publisher, what do they want in this question? It's too vague. There's not enough information. I get that. What I want you to do is when you get confronted with those case problems, don't necessarily look them up because they are real cases, but you be the judge. You've got this fact pattern. What are the legal principles that were in this chapter that they probably want me to apply to the fact pattern? Do an analysis, apply the elements of that rule of law to that fact pattern, and draw up a likely conclusion for it. You'll get significant credit, even if your understanding of the material is a little bit off in terms of your conclusions. But I do get the vagueness of some of those case problems that come before you. But please, on the case problems, don't write me a book, but write a couple of sentences in support to your conclusion why plaintiff wins or why the defendant should win in this case. and give me a sentence or two in support of your conclusion. Some of you are doing the case problems and just coming back with, yes, this person wins, or no, that person loses. That's just a mere conclusion. If you're, and I'm going to take some credit from that because you could be just guessing for all I know. But if you come to the wrong conclusion, but show me you applied the principle that was appropriate to the question and you did a solid reasoning and analysis, you get significant credit, even though your conclusion might be ultimately wrong in terms of the court's viewpoint. Other than that, I want you to keep a positive attitude, keep moving forward. The summer semester tends to go very, very quickly. And again, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help or understanding, especially on the quiz concepts if you got it wrong. And occasionally this does happen. Someone will say, geez, I didn't say anything, but I think on question 9, I really upset. I thought I really understood. And it turns out in making the answer key, selected the wrong response as the appropriate answer. And they did get it right. And the other times are that they simply misread the way in which I read the question, but they understand the concept. Don't be afraid to reach out. You're paying for this. Let's learn basics of business law together without the intimidation of quiz grades, without the intimidation of fear of doing poorly. You're going to do well in the end if you stick through it. Keep using all the time allotted. Don't be afraid to use resources. It's expected, meaning open book, open note, open computer access, to help you understand the concepts as you're doing the quiz. Use it as a learning tool. And other than that, this very short video, I hope all is well. And again, I know what it's like to be a student, and I know what it's like to feel like this isn't going so great. And is there a chance to turn it around? You bet. We're going to drop one of those lowest quizzes. We're going to scale the ones that aren't so great universally. If the bulk of the class does well, the quiz shows some validity. Again, I'm here for you. Don't be afraid to ask questions or reach out. And otherwise, stay tuned for the next quiz. Take care.